We're kicking off today with Monday Night Raw, as Brock Lesnar was on last night's show, and what the Beast had to say may have teased a major change. In his segment, Lesnar chose to introduce himself saying, "My name is Brock Lesnar," and would go on to list his many accomplishments both in and out of WWE. Watching the intro, fans couldn't help but notice how Lesnar was introducing himself just how Paul Heyman used to introduce him, and this could be a sign of a reunion between the two. Fans may recall that at Money in the Bank, the WWE title that Heyman held didn't feature Roman Reigns' side plates, but those of the Beast, and Heyman even tagged Lesnar in a tweet about this. Back on Raw, Cody Rhodes would emerge to take the fight to Lesnar, but Brock would turn things around thanks to his use of the steel stairs against his SummerSlam opponent. The story of the segment, though, was that no matter what, Rhodes refused to stay down, and it was only after a devastating F5 that Cody stayed down long enough for Lesnar to leave. In a post-segment promo, Rhodes vowed that the aura of the Beast will be shattered at SummerSlam, but did not announce any kind of stipulation for the match, as had been previously rumored. With Rhodes and Lesnar tied in wins, SummerSlam will likely be the final encounter between the two, and we'll have to see if Rhodes can defeat the man who has had his number for months. But what did you think of the segment? And do you think WWE are sowing the seeds for a reunion between Lesnar and Paul Heyman? Let us know in the comments. Raw also saw the escalation of the feud between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, but despite being advertised for SummerSlam, their match won't be at the biggest party of the summer. After Lynch was granted her request for their match to happen on last night's Raw, Stratus was far from thrilled with the idea, but this match did not last long. In a controversial move, Zoe Stark immediately got involved by attacking Lynch, giving the man the DQ win, but hardly the victory that she had hoped for. Backstage, Adam Pearce revealed that the Lynch-Stratus match will still happen, but on the August 14th Raw instead of SummerSlam, and with Stark banned from ringside. The move to delay the match has perplexed fans, and as Fightful Select report, WWE considered holding off on Stratus vs. Lynch until WWE's next premium live event, Payback, in September. They note, "We're told that things changed by this weekend regarding Becky Lynch vs. Trish Stratus, and that the match was discussed to be moved back to WWE Payback before it was announced for August 14th. The promo and match in totality was scheduled for only one segment on WWE Raw." Fightful also refuted reports that Stratus was due to take time off from WWE after SummerSlam, and given the new date for her match with Becky, that won't be happening. No explanation has been given as to why the move has happened, but the August 14th Raw will take place in Trish's native Canada, ensuring a loud reaction for the Hall of Famer. It's also been reported that Lynch has been nursing an injury in recent weeks, which could have played a role in WWE's decision, and the man will have to wait a bit longer before she gets her hands on the Canadian legend. The go-home Raw before SummerSlam kicked off with a heated promo between Ricochet and Logan Paul, one that saw Ricochet's fiancée get dragged into the mix. During the segment, Paul was quickly interrupted by Ricochet, who acknowledged Paul's in-ring skills, but also expressed his belief that the Maverick is a horrible human being. Things quickly escalated when Paul used Ricochet's engagement to ring announcer Samantha Irvin for heat, saying that the future Mrs. One and Only will have to announce him the winner this Saturday. The inclusion of Samantha Irvin in the feud has added an extra layer of intensity and emotion to the rivalry as tensions continue to rise between the two athletically gifted superstars. While Ricochet is clearly no fan of Paul, that wasn't always the case, as he told Chris Van Vliet that he had no preconceived notions of the Maverick when he joined WWE. "I never had any preconceived notions. I just think we have people come in all the time, so it's nothing new to me. Seeing that he was actually at the Performance Center training with Shawn Michaels and people down there and putting in the work for the match, the tag match with The Miz and the other match with The Miz, when he initially came in, I was curious to see what happened, and then to see what he's done since has been pretty cool." Time will tell whether it's Paul or Ricochet who Samantha Irvin declares the winner, but her involvement was an interesting twist this week. And what did you make of this segment on Raw? The match between Paul and Ricochet will likely be the single most athletic contest fans will see at SummerSlam, but neither man can claim to be perfect in the ring. After Paul mentioned Samantha Irvin on Raw, Ricochet attacked Paul, and during their brawl, the one and only botched an overhead kick that clearly missed its mark. Ricochet was able to quickly recover and deliver the move for a second time, this time properly connecting, but it wasn't enough to take Paul down completely. After a devastating right hand, it was Logan Paul who stood tall, and both men will be hoping to avoid this botch that will have gone unnoticed by many fans watching at home. During last night's Raw, a graphic and trailer for Peacock's new series Twisted Metal aired, but the video game franchise's iconic Sweet Tooth character was nowhere to be seen. Many suspect that Sweet Tooth wasn't around because he is played by Samoa Joe in the show, and WWE didn't want to feature the AEW Ring of Honor star, and that's exactly how Joe feels too. Taking to Twitter after the trailer aired on Raw, the reigning ROH World Television Champion saw the funny side of things, saying, "Y'all know," with a series of crying with laughter emojis. In the comments, fans immediately realized what Joe was referring to, with one fan saying promoting Twisted Metal without Sweet Tooth is akin to promoting Disney but without Mickey Mouse. Sweet Tooth is just one of multiple roles for Joe, who will be voicing King Shark in the much-anticipated Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League video game, and whatever's next for Joe, don't expect to hear about it from his former employer. More from Raw, and if you've been watching closely, you'll have seen a mysterious skull backstage in recent weeks, and once again, the skull was around on the show. During a backstage segment with Alpha Academy, the skull was on the set of boxes behind the group, and also appeared for a second time during the backstage segment with Trish Stratus, Zoe Stark, and Adam Pearce. It's worth stressing that these segments were filmed in two completely different locations, meaning that someone in WWE wanted to make sure that the skull was seen on TV. This week marked the first time that the skull has appeared in more than one segment in a night, and for the latter segment, it was seen with a rose in its mouth, adding more mystery to this situation. Not only have WWE not teased the reason behind the skull, but it isn't even being acknowledged on commentary, and with the exception of Becky Lynch last week, talent aren't addressing the matter either. Could this skull mark the debut of a new superstar, or possibly the return of a gothic character like Bray Wyatt? Or maybe it's something entirely different. Leave your predictions down in the comments. We've got some sad news to report as wrestling legend Adrian Street has died at the age of 82. With his flamboyant, androgynous character, Street would push the envelope of gender stereotypes in wrestling, paving the way for the likes of Adrian Adonis and Goldust. The UK legend was best known for his work in his homeland, but did do a brief stint in the US and was even the focus of a WWE Network documentary in 2019. This week's Raw was dedicated to the memory of Street, and while speaking to the BBC, his family said that Street died of sepsis after recovering at home following a stroke he suffered in July. Known for being a reliable hand who was able to travel with his manager and wife, Blackfoot Sue, Street is a true unsung hero of wrestling, and we'd like to offer our condolences to his family. Back to Raw, as after Maxine Dupree's victory over Valhalla in the Modeling Stars singles debut, the Alpha Academy was interrupted backstage by Imperium. The group of Europeans were coming off a win of their own, with Ludwig Kaiser dispatching of the returning Matt Riddle, and this set up a special 5-minute challenge for later in the show. That match saw Gunther face Chad Gable in a matchup of two of WWE's most technically gifted stars, and it was Gable who was able to get the win. We should clarify that Gable won because he was able to last the time limit, and an incensed Gunther demanded that the match be restarted. With no time limit, Gunther dispatched of the Olympian and ended his segment with some strong words for his SummerSlam challenger Drew McIntyre, who was out of the US filming a movie. While McIntyre will be the one to challenge Gunther, Gable's performance this week could easily lead to the Alpha Academy star getting a title match of his own, and perhaps he'll be the one to end the incredible reign of the Austrian powerhouse. And we're ending with SummerSlam as Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler will face off in Detroit, but this will not be any ordinary match. On Raw, a promotional video hyped up their upcoming encounter and looked at the careers of both women, and it was revealed that their match will be contested under MMA rules. It's unclear as to what exactly this will mean, given that MMA is not scripted while WWE is, but both women obviously come from a mixed martial arts background. Despite being at odds on screen, this feud is Rousey's thank you to Baszler, ensuring TV time for her friend who helped her make the transition from UFC to wrestling. WWE has blended the worlds of MMA and sports entertainment before with the Fight Pit match and the infamous Brawl for All, and are you excited for the former allies to face off this Saturday under MMA rules?